Welcome to Extra Innings Softball Voices from the Field. I'm Jesse Warren here with
Katie Lively.
And we are thrilled to have you with us today as we dive into the world of softball like never before.
So grab your gloves, lace up your cleats, and settle in as we explore the voices from the field, where every inning counts and every player has a story.
Welcome back to Extra Innings Softball Voices from the Field podcast. Today we have a special guest, Maddie Weathers. I actually had the pleasure of coaching her for about a year, and just watching her grow has been so fun. So Maddie is a senior at East Coweta High School in Georgia, and they just won the state title. How fun, how exciting.
Yes.
And she will be graduating this coming spring and heading to Jacksonville, Florida to play for the Dolphins at Jacksonville University, which is so exciting as well. But Maddie, thanks for coming on. Thanks for spending some time with us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
So we're just going to start by asking you some questions. So Maddie tore her ACL, and if I say anything wrong, Maddie, you just correct me, okay?
Okay.
Maddie tore her ACL twice in the past 2 years, correct?
I tore my ACL once in 2022. In 2023, I tore my meniscus.
Okay, so ACL in 2022 and meniscus in 2023. Yes.
Yes.
So as an athlete, injury is just hard. I've gone through injury, but I've not gone through injury to the point of having to sit out of a season or of games. Like, I've kind of played through the injury. Granted, like, I could probably have gotten surgery on some of my injuries, but I refused to. But Maddie had surgery in 2022 for her ACL. She came back, and her first practice back, she was going and trying to do drop steps with her coach and twisted her knee in a weird direction and ended up tearing her meniscus as well, which then put her back again. With all that being said, Maddie, like, what was the hardest part of your rehab process, from the physical and the mental challenges of recovering from your ACL tear and then also your meniscus tear?
It was definitely like the mental side of it. Like the physical side, like obviously it was hard, but I was used to like working hard and all that. But I think it was just the fact, like, it's like a setback, obviously, and you can't play your sport for a long period of time. Which, when I tore my ACL, I was out for a year, which it was my ACL and my meniscus. It wasn't just my ACL. But so that's what made it longer. And yeah, basically just knowing that like you can't play, you have to be there for your team, and you can't be really selfish, you know what I'm saying? You have to be able to be there for your teammates. That was the main thing. I was like, I know I'm hurt, but I can't make this about me because it was in the middle of our season. I was like, I need to go and support my team, which is what I did both years. I mean, it was tough, but I had really good teammates, so.
Sounds like it. That's incredible. That's a really cool perspective, and the way that you respond in that way of being selfless and being like, I need to support my team. This is not about me. It's something that I think people hear a lot, but that's really hard to do. Like, that is so hard to do, especially when, you want to play, you want to be out there, and you physically cannot. So kind of tell me about, how have you always been like that as a player? Is there anyone in your life that has kind of encouraged you to have that mindset of team over me?
Well, not recently. When I first got hurt, we started going by this saying, trust God's plan, because he has a plan for us. You just have to believe in it and follow it. And that's what I had to just keep remembering. He kept throwing dodgeballs and everything, but I was like, I just got to keep remembering to go across his plan. And my parents kept reminding me that, because there were times where it got tough and times where I was like, I don't think I can do it anymore. Like, maybe I should just step back, go to college and not play softball, which was really weird to say, but that thought crossed my mind. But then I remembered, I was like I was born to play softball. Like, I know that. So even questioning that, I was like, it was just weird, but I ended up getting back on the right track after my mom told me. She was like, girl, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
I know one person that I played softball with in college, Alex Powers, tore her left ACL the day she got back from her ACL, like, recovery, tore her right ACL. Like, it's just crazy having to to deal with some of those injuries. And like you said, it's more of the mental side. Physically you're able to get and push through those injuries, and I'm sure that goes for a lot of athletes that are dealing with injury. But it's really that mental side of things that really changes you as a person. But yeah, you mentioned too, just thinking that like softball wasn't for you anymore. So with that being said, like you obviously felt like there was a point where you could have gave up. How did you push through that? Talk about the mental blocks that you might have faced during that recovery period, and how it could have led to like a powerful, comeback. Obviously it did. You came back in your senior year and you won a state championship. So that's pretty cool as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, so at the beginning, it would pop a lot and the popping would be painful. And I was getting to a point where it would occur a lot. And Ella Oswald, her dad would always remind me, he was like, "It's gonna pop, it's scar tissue."
And
I
Ella's
think it
dad was a doctor, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. And I think it just got to a point where I was just like, I'm tired of it hurting. I'm tired of it being sore and all this. And I was like, I think the best decision would be just, you know, taking a break, quitting softball, which it was when that thought came to my mind, I was like, I have to be at my lowest of lows, like, because I have never thought about quitting until then. So then we had like a whole sit down talk with my parents. And my parents, they were like, you were made to play softball and you know that. It's going to be tough. Not everybody is going to be able to go through this. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And they were like, "You're a tough girl. You've had a lot of like things thrown at you and you've responded well." And she was like, "But this is going to be the toughest one." And I started going I started wearing a brace because I didn't wear a brace and I didn't catch anymore. And I kind of slowly like worked myself back in. And that's right around when high school ball started. And high school ball is like my favorite time of the year because I'm with some of my best friends every day. So I kind of fell in love with it again. And it reminded me, I was like, I love softball. And that thought has not crossed my mind since.
That is so amazing. And praise God that you have parents that, were able
Exactly.
to push through that. Cause I think a
Miss
lot of
Rhonda, shout out Miss Rhonda.
Shout out Miss
yeah.
Rhonda.
Seriously, because I'm sure, like, as a parent, it's probably awful to see your kid going through so much pain and so much
Yeah.
adversity. And I'm sure she wanted the pain to stop too,
Oh,
and instead of
yes.
being like, just quit, it would be easier for everybody. It's
Yeah.
amazing that she still let you kind of push through it and encouraged you throughout the way. So you just won a state championship.
Yes.
And this is your first season back. Am I mistaken, or is this like the first school ball season back?
Well, I played in state my freshman year, but my
Okay.
sophomore year I didn't, and my junior year I didn't.
Okay,
So this
cool.
was, yeah.
Yeah, so first season back since your injuries, winning a state title, and I'm sure that was an amazing feeling, but was there any like point in time, or was this the moment when you realized like I did it? Like I came back and I'm like the day that I dreamed of and the day that I worked so hard for, it's here. Like was that the moment, or was there a moment before that that you kind of had that realization?
Well, when we won, there was a picture of me. I'm bent over, I have my hands on my face, and I am bawling. And it was right after I saw my best friend. She was crying and she ran over to me. She was like, "That was our last time playing together." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like the road that I've had." Like, and sitting back and watching my team the past 2 years not being able to play and having a heartbreaking ending every year and seeing us all come out successful this year and everyone's celebrating and everyone's crying. It was a real gosh, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
No, don't
No, you're
apologize.
fine.
Emotions are good. That means you
Yeah.
care, and like it just shows like the journey that you've been through and like the hard work that you put in. Like, and as a coach that like I've coached you, it's so cool to see that you were able to like
Yeah.
overcome those injuries. Because I was there when you tore your ACL. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
actually there, but I was I experienced like I saw you at the fields at tournaments outside of the dugout, like doing your therapy while the girls are playing. Like I've seen that side of it, so I know how hard you've worked, and to see the mental resilience and the focus that you had to get through that injury and then be able to overcome it and play your senior year and win states, like that's an
Yeah.
emotional journey.
It
So it's
was an
okay to
amazing
cry. Like
feeling.
you don't have to
Yeah.
say
Oh my
sorry.
gosh.
And
Whew.
also too, I'm just thinking like, okay, so you're out your sophomore and junior season. So
Yes, ma'am.
you played your freshman year, you played your senior year. And I don't know what travel ball looked like for you, but you're committed to a Division I school. So in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
midst of all of that, like I would look at that on paper and be like, there's no way she could get recruited. Like she didn't play her sophomore and junior year.
Yeah.
Like, how would someone even like how would you do that? And that's like, I mean, that's like insane to me. So tell me about your recruiting process. Like, how did you overcome those obstacles? And like I said, not even just going to play anywhere is amazing, but to go play Division I after all that adversity and all that time off, like that's incredible. Tell me about that.
So it started off it started off good. I had a lot of colleges looking at me my sophomore year and then going into September 1st of my junior year. And then it was around October, like the middle of October when I got hurt. And I lost like all my traction. All the colleges were like, that's our second time getting hurt. Like, I think we're just going to be done. We're just going to move on, find someone that's healthier. So then I think it was June of this year, we were in Clearwater, and that's near Jacksonville. They told me that they were coming to watch our game, and I haven't met them in person before. And Coach E came. I think it was just Coach E. I don't think Coach Jake was there. I don't remember. But I was catching and I threw someone out, and Coach E got on the phone and she was like, I have to have her right now. I love her, all this. So then I think it was like not even a week later, I went on a visit there and I absolutely loved it. Like I fell in love immediately. Like it's near the beach and everything. And I know a lot of people going down there, like JC and other 2025. So I was just like, this is it. This is where I want to spend my next 4 years. I love them so much.
That is incredible. So, anyone listening out here, if you are in a similar situation, you can do it. I think that
Yeah.
a lot of girls nowadays, and I understand it, if you don't get that commitment, fall of your junior year, oh, well, it's a lost cause. And it's like, no, it's not. Like, there's always
Mm-mm.
opportunity to get that scholarship. So, that's incredible. That's really cool.
Yeah, I loved it so much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Florida is a great state.
Yeah, it
We love
is.
Florida,
Oh my god.
especially you coming from Georgia where there are no beaches
I know.
unless y'all guys have
Yeah.
like lakes and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be really fun for you. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to watch you play.
Yay,
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Going off of what we just talked about, let's go into like advice from you for others that are going through an injury in high school season right now, even maybe in college. Some girls might be going through it. What advice could you give to these athletes who are currently recovering from ACL injuries, meniscus injuries, like injuries in general?
So, obviously it's going to be tough. Obviously it's going to be painful, but it's all in your mindset and how you approach stuff. If you approach it negatively, then you're going to get a negative, what's the word I'm looking for? Result. Yeah. If you go in with a positive mindset and you go, yeah, like I'm going to get past this. I'm going to come out of this. I'm going to be fine. You will like the results that you get. And I've learned that because the second one, like I said, I went down like a hill and I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to come back from this. And I'm so thankful because I have a lot of people that supported me and they were like, Maddie, like, I know you and I know in a few years, if you quit right now, you are going to be so mad at yourself. So that's what was kind of like, I had to think and I was like, that's not what I want to do. Like, I want to push myself. I want to get back maybe even better than I was before the first time and just play softball again. You know what I'm saying? So it's what I've gone by. You just have to trust God's plan. Like He has a plan and you just have to trust it. Don't try and change anything. Just, yeah, just trust His plan.
I
That's
think
it.
that's huge because like even for me, when I was in college, I had a small fracture in my ankle. I had to play through it. I dealt with a torn labrum in my shoulder. I played through it. I'm dealing with a torn labrum in my throwing shoulder. I'm playing through it. Like just so many injuries that, granted, I could have probably taken care of a little bit earlier that I didn't. But you're speaking about God's plan and like trusting God's plan. And the one thing that I've like and have really like dove into is my faith recently. And God's timing is always right, no matter
That's
what.
right.
Like God's
That's
timing
right.
is always right. And it's sometimes hard when you're going through injury and adversity to see that and to understand it. but sometimes it's not for us to understand. It's for us to just trust and believe that what he has thrown at us is what he wants for us.
Yay.
But yeah, I think that's one thing a lot of athletes just need to just let go and let God and just trust that this injury is for a reason. And
Exactly.
you can probably attest to this. Like, this injury, if it weren't for those two injuries, like, you wouldn't be as strong minded as you were
Mm-mm.
or as you
That's
are
right.
right now. So I mean, Katie, I don't know if you have had any injuries before or if you've experienced injury.
Yeah,
And
not
can
to the
speak on that.
extent of an ACL. I kinda like with you, Jesse. I've had a few, but I played through them. But I think a lot of it too, and, like, kind of going off of you, Jesse, and what you said, Maddie, is the perspective of it's not the world's against me. I can't believe this happened. Like, why did this happen? Instead of just being like, look, I don't know. I don't understand, but I know that something good will come out of it. So I love that perspective, and I love that that's kind of how you look at things. I think that you're thinking like that before you even go into college. So, like, you're already set up a lot better than a lot of athletes having that mindset and having that thankfulness for the game. I think that's something that some people, and I, like I said, I never had to, me and Jesse, neither of us really had to sit out softball. And it's like that's a special thing you have to go through, because I feel like you have a lot more appreciation for the game when you
Yeah.
don't have it for a while.
I'm done. I'm done. No,
Like,
I
that's
want to go
awesome.
back. I obviously want to play in the Olympics, but
Right, right. But how what have you learned about yourself through all of this? Like, where have you seen yourself grow the most, and what have you learned that you feel like is gonna give you an advantage going into college and even life in general?
So I feel like before my injuries, I was kind of taking it for granted. I started going through the motions because like I had the mindset, like it's just a sport, you know? And around that time, I was like 13, 14 years old, I think. And I was young. I wasn't mature or anything. But once that happened to me and I got the game that I love taken away from me, it kind of made me realize like, oh, hey, like I need to grow up. And I don't know, it made me love my sport a lot more because once you have something taken away from you, you'll realize how much that you love it.
we're not going to keep you any longer. So, just a couple of more questions, maybe even just one more. So, Maddie, you talk about 2 years you were unable to play softball at the travel ball level as well as in high school. Were there any people or athletes who've inspired you during your injury recovery process after your ACL tear and after your meniscus tear?
Well, this is gonna sound corny, but Acuna for the Braves because he got hurt twice, even though he got hurt a third time. But seeing him get hurt and be able to come back and be like amazing again, and then him get hurt and come back again, it was kind of just like it felt like kind of close to my story because I mean I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I think I had a pretty good year last year. So
Well, you
I don't
won
know.
state, so clearly
Exactly.
you're pretty good, girl. You can brag on yourself.
Hey, be confident. It's confidence. It's not concedence. You're not
Yeah.
being conceited.
Now, also, I had my sophomore year, I had a teammate she was hurt with me too. I wouldn't say hurt, but she had something with her arm where it was like numb and she couldn't play. So me and her sat out that whole year together. Her name's Lizzie Austin. She was hurt and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. Like they had to travel all across the country to figure it out. It was in one arm and then it started traveling to the other. So she didn't think she was going to be able to play softball again. And just to see her come back this year, it was amazing. Like I respect her so much for just being a strong young woman. It was
Yeah.
I love her so much.
That's amazing. And I think that goes to show, like, no matter who's watching, you don't know who you're inspiring. And I have no doubt that someone is going to go through something as similar as you, and they're going to
Mhm.
look at you and be like, if she can do it, I can do it. So
Yes, ma'am.
I love that. I think that we don't understand how much we can impact people,
Mhm.
even just the little things. So that's amazing that you had people. Acuna is a stud too. So he is
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like Acuna, however you say his name, was
yeah,
like that athlete that inspired you. Like, you may be
yeah,
that athlete for
right.
the younger generation of kids that might be going through exactly what you're going through. So I think it's
100%.
cool that you were able to get through what you did, and just like I said, the mental resilience that you showed and how focused you were from me as a coach, being able to see that. Like, I can only imagine behind the scenes, like, and
Yeah.
what that looked like for you.
It
Yeah.
was tough, but it definitely made me stronger.
Right. I love that.
What's that song? What doesn't kill you makes you. All right.
That's it. That's it.
Sing
There
it,
you
keep
go.
singing it. No,
Come
keep
on
singing
with
it.
it.
What doesn't kill you makes you strong. Okay.
Well, thank you, Maddie, for getting on the call with us. And
Thank
I've loved
y'all.
learning about your story, and it's so inspiring. And I think that it's something that has made you stronger, clearly, and it's only gonna give you more advantage in the long run with the mental strength that you've had to have through the injury. So thank you, Maddie, for sharing your story. And if anyone out there is listening and you've gone through an injury, make sure to go on our website, and we actually have a media forum that is for injury and illness and talks about comeback stories. And so if you have anything like that, make sure you go to our website, fill out the form, and we'll be able to highlight you and share your story just like we are with Maddie. So thank you, Maddie, again. And we hope to
Thank
talk soon.
y'all.
And until next time, Katie and I are out, and we will see you on the next episode of Voices from the Field.
Bye.
Bye.